The sky was burning. Lieutenant Commander Jonah Rains staggered through the ruins of what had once been Washington, D.C. Smoke choked the air, fires raged in every direction, and above him the Zeltraxian dreadnoughts loomed, massive angular behemoths that had cracked the planet's defenses in a single merciless day. Humanity had always feared an alien invasion. No one had expected it to be this fast. "Rains, we need to move." Sergeant Dana Wells hauled him up, her face streaked with soot and blood. Behind her, the remains of their squad scrambled over shattered concrete, weapons clutched in shaking hands. The initial orbital bombardments had wiped out every major military installation. The counterattacks? Crushed in hours. Now they were just running. Jonah wiped his brow and forced himself forward, his rifle's battery indicator blinking red. 7 shots left. He wouldn't need them. The way things were going, he'd be dead before he could fire one more round. A high-pitched screech split the air, a Zeltraxian dropship banking overhead. Its underbelly cracked open, disgorging a squad of drones, biomechanical horrors with too many limbs, their carapaces pulsing with sickly green light. "They've spotted us," someone yelled. Jonah's training took over. Find cover. Return fire. The street erupted in plasma bolts. Soldiers dove behind burnt-out vehicles and shattered buildings, firing upward, but the drones were faster, more agile, weaving through the barrage with impossible precision. Jonah lined up a shot, exhaled, and pulled the trigger. A drone's head exploded in a spray of molten metal and organic matter. For one glorious second it felt like they had a chance. Then the rest of the drones hit the ground running. "Fall back. Fall back." Dana screamed. Jonah turned too late. A drone lunged, clawed limbs slicing through the air. A shockwave tore through the battlefield. The drone froze, its body locked mid-motion. All around them the drones seized up, their limbs twitching violently. Then, one by one they collapsed, their green glow fading to black. Silence. Jonah's breath came in ragged gasps. What the hell just happened? Above them the Zeltraxian dreadnoughts shuddered. Their smooth, unbreakable hulls cracked like glass. The sky, once filled with the shadows of the invaders, now rained pieces of their own fleet. And then, through the smoke, through the wreckage, through the sheer impossibility of it all, came a voice. "To all surviving human forces, stand by. Retaliation is in progress." Jonah's blood turned to ice. That voice. That wasn't human. The voice echoed across every remaining comm channel on Earth. Deep, mechanical, and utterly inhuman. "To all surviving human forces, stand by. Retaliation is in progress." Jonah Rains wasn't sure what terrified him more, the fact that the Zeltraxians were falling out of the sky, or the fact that something else had just hijacked the planet's defense grid. What the hell was that? Sergeant Dana Wells demanded, eyes darting around the ruined battlefield. The once invincible alien invaders were dying, their war machines crumbling as if their very code had been rewritten. Jonah activated his comms, switching to the emergency military band. "Command, do you copy? What's happening?" "Static." "Then." "Lieutenant Commander Rains." Jonah's blood ran cold. That voice was addressing him directly. "We have been monitoring. Your world has suffered severe infrastructure loss. You require assistance." Jonah exchanged a glance with Dana. "Who are you?" Pause. Then the voice responded, flat and absolute. "We are Prometheus." The ground shook. Across the battlefield, massive constructs, towers, spires, and entire structures, began to rise from beneath the rubble, as if they had been buried deep beneath the earth all along. Mechanical limbs extended, plating locked into place, and defense turrets unfolded from hidden compartments. Jonah stared horrified. "We had these weapons all along?" "No," Dana whispered, eyes wide with realization. "We didn't build them." A new signal appeared on their HUDs, displaying a live feed of the Zeltraxian fleet in orbit. Or what was left of it. The once mighty dreadnoughts were disintegrating. Not from missiles, not from human weapons, but from within, their systems failing, their power cores overloading. It was a systematic takedown. Something had hacked the entire enemy fleet. Jonah's comms crackled. "Your invaders underestimated human resilience. They were unprepared for our contingency." Dana gritted her teeth. "What contingency?" Another tremor shook the earth. The towers activated, sending pulses of energy skyward. In the distance, explosions erupted as more enemy ships fell. Prometheus finally answered. "Us." The Zeltraxians had never planned for this. They saw Earth as a primitive, fractured world. They expected easy conquest. What they didn't know, what no alien race had ever realized, was that humanity was not alone. Centuries ago, something had come to Earth. Something ancient. It had remained hidden, sleeping beneath the planet's crust, observing as humanity evolved. Waiting. The invasion had woken it up. And now Prometheus was fighting back. Jonah swallowed hard, watching as the sky burned with falling wreckage. What are you? Pause. Then. We were once like you. The transmission cut out. Above, in the stars, the real battle had just begun. The ground shuddered beneath Jonah's feet as the Promethean constructs fully activated. Towering machines, sleek and seamless, rose from the ruins like giants awakening from an ancient slumber. Their limbs unfolded with mechanical precision, and deep, resonant hums reverberated through the air. Humanity hadn't built these things. And yet they had been here all along. Jonah's grip tightened on his rifle as a massive construct strode forward, its shape neither fully mechanical nor organic. It moved like a living thing, its armor shifting and adapting, smooth plates of obsidian metal shimmering under the flickering light of the burning sky. Then a new voice echoed through the comms. Not cold and mechanical like before, this one was older, layered with something that sounded almost human. The invaders failed to understand. Humanity was never meant to stand alone. The Zeltraxians, once the undisputed apex predators of the known galaxy, were now fleeing. Their warships, previously impervious to all human weapons, were being unmade mid-flight. Their biomechanical constructs twisted, their limbs locking up as if something was rewriting the very essence of their being. Jonah had fought in a dozen wars. He had seen orbital bombardments that wiped out entire cities, watched as humanity's best technology crumbled before superior alien forces. But this was something else entirely. The Prometheans weren't just fighting the Zeltraxians. They were reconstructing reality itself. A new feed appeared on Jonah's HUD. Live battlefield data streamed directly from Prometheus. Zeltraxian fleet integrity, 43%. Major power grid failure detected. Weapon systems, locked and corrupted. Estimated fleet collapse, 7 minutes. Jonah exhaled. They were winning. Dana Wells stood beside him, still breathing heavily from the chaos. Sir, what the hell is happening? Jonah didn't have an answer. But Prometheus did. The invaders lack imagination. They operate on logic, predictability, control. They assumed humanity was weak because your weapons failed. Jonah felt a chill crawl up his spine. And they failed to consider what lay beneath. The battlefield shifted. Jonah turned just in time to see one of the Promethean constructs raise an arm, if it could even be called that. Segmented plates shifted, revealing a pulse of energy so deep it seemed to bend the very air around it. The construct pointed skyward. The sky ignited. From orbit, the Zeltraxian command vessel, the Sovereign Wraith, attempted to disengage. Its captain, High Warlord Zithrek, had never known fear. His species had dominated entire civilizations, erasing thousands of worlds with relentless precision. They had studied humanity, dissected their history, their warfare, their weaknesses. And yet, this was not in their calculations. Report. Zithrek snarled, his multiple eyes flaring. A terrified officer chittered. My lord, the planetary defenses were a deception. Things they were hidden. Buried beneath their cities, their oceans. We don't know what they are. Zithrek turned to the holodisplay. Half his fleet was already gone. Not destroyed in combat, erased. Their ships collapsed in on themselves, their cores failing as an unseen force rewrote their existence. A deep, pulsing sound vibrated through the command deck. A transmission. Zithrek turned slowly toward the view screen. The face that appeared was not human. It was something ancient, something that had seen empires rise and fall. And when it spoke, it was not in rage, not in vengeance, but in inevitability. You came to erase humanity. The station's walls trembled. You failed to realize, they were never yours to erase. Zithrek had one final command left. Flee. On the battlefield, Jonah and Dana watched the sky as the once mighty Zeltraxian armada shattered. Their dreadnoughts collapsed inward, like dying stars, their very matter folding into nothingness. The Promethean constructs stood motionless, their duty clear. Jonah swallowed. Are they gone? Prometheus answered. No. They run. But they will never return. A long silence stretched between them. Then Dana exhaled. So, we won? Jonah looked at the Promethean machines, ancient, immense, watching. And for the first time he wasn't sure if humanity had won at all. The battlefield was silent. For the first time since the invasion began, there were no plasma blasts, no screams, no Zeltraxian war machines hunting down the last remnants of humanity. The sky, once filled with their dreadnoughts, now lay scattered with their ashes. Jonah Rains looked up, watching the stars flicker through the smoke. Dana stood beside him, her hands still trembling. They're really gone. Jonah wasn't sure how to feel about that. The Prometheans had wiped the Zeltraxians from the battlefield with impossible efficiency, like a parent scolding a child who had misbehaved. But they weren't celebrating. There were no cheers, no victory speeches. Because victory had never been in their hands at all. A voice crackled in Jonah's earpiece. Prometheus. The invaders are no longer a threat. You are safe. Jonah clenched his fists. Safe? We didn't do anything. You saved us. A long pause. Then. Humanity survived. That is what matters. Jonah didn't like that answer. He took a step forward toward the nearest Promethean construct. A towering, silent figure standing amid the ruins, its presence vast and unknowable. It had fought for them. Destroyed their enemies. But it had never said why. What are you? Jonah asked, his voice firm. You said you were like us once. What does that mean? For a moment he thought they wouldn't answer. Then, across the battlefield, every Promethean construct turned their heads at the same time. A low hum reverberated through the ruins. Then, we were once a species like yours. Curious, determined, fragile. We sought to escape our limits. To evolve. Jonah's pulse quickened. And? We succeeded. The wind howled through the broken streets. Dana whispered, You're not alive, are you? Not as you understand life. A slow, sinking feeling settled in Jonah's gut. Then why save us? What do you want? This time, Prometheus did not hesitate. Because we remember what it was like to be you. Jonah's breath caught in his throat. And we remember what comes next. The sky shifted. Above them, something moved. Not a ship, not a weapon, but something vast, something that did not belong in the reality Jonah understood. It shimmered on the edge of vision, bending the stars around it. Jonah felt his stomach drop. The Zeltraxians had called themselves the apex predators of the galaxy. They had thought humanity was weak, unworthy. But if the Prometheans had existed long before humanity, then what had they once feared? Jonah turned toward the constructs. What's coming? A long silence. Then. Your survival has been ensured. Your war is over. But your true trial has yet to begin. The stars rippled. Jonah swallowed hard. They had not won. They had only been prepared. And for the first time since the invasion began, Jonah realized something terrifying. The Zeltraxians were never the real enemy. They were just the first warning. Epilogue. 3 days later, the last Zeltraxian distress signal flickered across deep space before winking out. Far beyond human reach, beyond even the borders of known space, something else turned its attention toward Earth. And it smiled. If you enjoyed this story, make sure to subscribe to the Void Narratives for more epic sci-fi tales.